The rain hammered the Amtrak platform in Penn Station like it was trying to drown New York City itself, mirroring the storm raging inside me. I'd bought the ticket on a whim, fleeing the wreckage of my life with nothing but a duffel bag and a heart shredded by betrayal. As the conductor called my name for the sleeper car, I froze, because stepping into the narrow cabin ahead of me was Ethan, the man who'd just torched everything I held dear. I slammed the door to the tiny bathroom, my breath coming in sharp gasps as if the air itself had turned traitor. The cabin was a coffin on wheels, 2 bunk beds stacked like judgments, a fold-down table scarred from countless journeys, and windows smeared with the blur of departing lights. Ethan stood there, his broad shoulders filling the space, that familiar leather jacket slung over one arm like he owned the damn train. His dark eyes flicked up, widening in shock that mirrored my own gut punch of horror. "Alex," he said, voice low and rough, as if the word carried the weight of our shared history. We'd been together for 3 years, 3 years of stolen weekends in Central Park, whispered promises in the dim glow of Brooklyn lofts, and dreams of a future where love like ours could outrun the world's sideways glances. Ethan had been my anchor, the one who pulled me out of the closet my conservative family had nailed shut. But 2 weeks ago, I'd walked in on him with someone else, a faceless shadow in our bed that shattered the illusion. No explanations, no pleas, just a slammed door and a one-way ticket west. I'd chosen this route to California for the irony, starting over in the land of reinvention, far from the East Coast's judgmental chill. And now fate, that cruel jester, had crammed us into 18 square feet of rolling steel. "Get out," I managed, my voice cracking like thin ice. But the train lurched forward, the wheels screeching against the rails, sealing our exile. There was no out. Booked cabins were non-refundable, and the next stop was hours away in Philadelphia. Ethan dropped his bag on the lower bunk, running a hand through his cropped black hair, the gesture so achingly familiar it twisted the knife deeper. "I didn't know," he said, not meeting my eyes. "This has to be some sick joke." I laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the walls. "Joke? You think this is funny? After what you did?" The words hung heavy, laced with the unspoken. The nights I'd spent replaying that scene, the way his body had arched under another's touch, the casual cruelty of his silence since. I'd blocked him everywhere. Phone, socials, even the coffee shop where we'd first kissed. Yet here he was, invading my escape. He finally looked at me, those eyes that once held galaxies now stormy with something I couldn't name. Regret? Defiance? It wasn't what it looked like, Alex. I swear. But I turned away, climbing to the upper bunk and pulling the thin curtain like a flimsy shield. The train picked up speed, hurtling us into the night, and sleep came in fits, haunted by the creak of the cabin and the ghost of his breathing below. Morning broke over the Delaware River, the landscape shifting from urban grit to rolling hills dotted with fading autumn leaves. I woke to the smell of stale coffee from the dining car, my body stiff from the bunk's unforgiving sway. Ethan was already up, staring out the window with his arms crossed, the lines of his jaw etched deeper in the pale light. He didn't acknowledge me as I descended, grabbing my jacket and muttering about breakfast. But as I reached for the door, his hand caught my wrist, gentle, but firm enough to send a jolt through me. "Alex, please, just hear me out." His touch burned, a reminder of better days, and I yanked free, heat rising in my cheeks. "Hear you out? Like you heard me when I begged you not to throw us away?" The accusation flew out sharper than intended, drawing a wince from him. Outside, the corridor buzzed with passengers, families chattering, a couple in matching hoodies sharing earbuds. Normalcy that mocked our chaos. In the dining car, I claimed a corner table, nursing black coffee and a rubbery omelet, my mind a whirlwind. Why him? Of all the routes, all the cars, why this one? Part of me, the masochistic part, wondered if it was karma, forcing confrontation I dodged with every deleted text. My phone buzzed, a message from Jamie, my best friend back in the city. "You okay? Train life treating you right." I typed back a lie, smooth sailing, before silencing it. Jamie knew the breakup details, had held me through the sobs, but admitting this twist would shatter my facade of strength. By midday, the train sliced through Pennsylvania's farmland, golden fields stretching under a sky threatening more rain. I retreated to the observation car, its dome of glass offering panoramic escape. But Ethan followed, inevitable as the whistles wail. He slid into the seat across from me, two strangers pretending at civility. I booked this last minute, he admitted, voice barely above the hum of conversation around us. After everything, thought distance would fix me too. Fix you, I scoffed, tracing the window's condensation. You broke us, Ethan, not the miles. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, the vulnerability cracking his usual stoic mask. It was one night. A mistake born from too much whiskey and too little sense. He meant nothing, you do. The words landed like a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters, but I was too raw to grab it. Instead, I fired back. One night? That's your defense? As if that erases the trust you torched. The argument simmered, voices low but edged with fire, until an elderly woman nearby cleared her throat pointedly. We fell silent, the tension coiling tighter. As the train curved toward Ohio, I spotted a group of activists in the lounge, rainbow pins glinting, discussing a rally against recent anti-LGBTQ bills snaking through Congress. Their passion stirred something in me, a reminder that my pain was but a thread in a larger tapestry of struggle. Ethan noticed too, his gaze lingering. Remember that march in D.C., he murmured. You dragged me out of bed at dawn, called it our fight. I did remember. The chants, the signs, the way his hand had found mine in the crowd, defiant against stares. It had been love then, unscarred. But nostalgia was a trap, and I stood abruptly. That was before. Back in the cabin, I journaled furiously, pages filling with doubts, the what-ifs that clawed at resolve. Why had I run? To heal? Yes, but also to punish myself for loving too fiercely in a world that often recoiled from it. Evening brought a delay in Pittsburgh, the train idling on a siding as freight rumbled past. Ethan suggested dinner in the car, a truce of sorts. Against better judgment, I agreed, the clink of silverware a fragile bridge. Over pasta that tasted of cardboard, he opened up, not excuses, but fragments of truth. Work stress at the firm, where he'd faced whispers after coming out, clients pulling back. I felt like I was losing myself, he confessed, fork paused midair. And I took it out on us. Empathy flickered, unwanted, but I quashed it. You don't get to play victim, Ethan. Not when your choices left me picking up shards. Yet as dessert arrived, stale pie we poked at, his foot brushed mine under the table, accidental or not, and the spark was there, electric and treacherous. The train jolted forward again, plunging us into Appalachian darkness, and in the bunk's shadows, I heard him shift below, whispering into the void. I miss you. Sleep evaded me, the rhythm of the rails a relentless heartbeat. Dreams tangled, Ethan's laugh in sunlit parks, the sting of that bedroom door, a future where forgiveness wasn't a fool's errand. Dawn crept in over West Virginia's hollers, mist clinging to ridges like unspoken regrets. I rose early, slipping to the club car for solitude, but Ethan was there, nursing tea, eyes bloodshot. Couldn't sleep either, he asked, and I nodded, sliding in opposite. Conversation flowed haltingly at first, neutral ground, the conductor's bad jokes, the kid in car be causing a ruckus. Then deeper, his sister's wedding invite he'd ignored, fearing the family's veiled barbs about lifestyle choices. My own parents' radio silence since the breakup, their disappointment a silent indictment. They loved you, I said softly, surprising us both. Until you weren't theirs anymore. He reached across, fingers grazing mine, and for a heartbeat, I let it linger, the warmth of balm on frostbitten skin. But withdrawal came swift, walls rebuilding. Don't, I warned. The day unfolded in fits, shared silences in the dome car, watching Kentucky's bluegrass roll by, a heated debate over a news alert on my phone about a queer youth shelter closing in Ohio, our voices rising in shared fury. It's why we can't just walk away, Ethan said, passion flaring. The world's hard enough without us tearing at each other. By nightfall, crossing into Illinois, the cabin felt less like a prison, more a confessional. I unpacked my duffel, revealing the photo we'd taken at Pride. Arms linked, smiles defiant. Ethan's gaze softened. You kept it. Haven't had time to burn it. I lied. Laughter bubbled up, tentative, cracking the ice. But as lights dimmed for sleep, doubt resurfaced. Was this progress or peril? The man below me held my heart's ruins. Could he rebuild, or just sift through the ash? The third day dawned crisp over the Mississippi, the river a silver vein pulsing life into flatlands. Breakfast was awkward domesticity, Ethan brewing instant from the carafe, handing me a mug with a sheepish grin. Peace offering. I accepted, the steam curling like question marks. Conversation veered to dreams deferred, my stalled novel about a queer drifter finding home, his architecture sketches gathering dust. You always said I built walls instead of bridges, he noted, and I couldn't deny it. A stop in St. Louis brought vendors hawking trinkets, and we ventured out, the platform a brief gasp of freedom. Ethan bought me a keychain, a tiny rainbow arch, slipping it into my palm with eyes averted. For the road ahead. The gesture disarmed, stirring memories of simpler gifts, wildflowers from Prospect Park, notes tucked in lunch bags. Back aboard, tension simmered as we passed through Missouri's heartland, billboards preaching fire and brimstone a stark reminder of battles beyond our own. That afternoon, conflict erupted in the lounge. A passenger, burly, red-faced, overheard our talk of the shelter closure, muttering slurs under his breath. Freaks ruining the country. Ethan's jaw clenched, but I stood first, voice steady. Mind your own track. The man blustered, but the car's queer contingent, two women with matching tattoos, a trans guy sketching quietly, rallied, stares collective armor. Ethan squeezed my shoulder later. You were brave. We were, I corrected, the us slipping out unbidden. Evening brought vulnerability's floodgate. In the cabin's hush, Ethan confessed the full truth. The other man was a coworker, a desperate grasp at normalcy after a homophobic client's tirade cost him a promotion. I hated myself more than you could, he said, voice breaking. Tears stung my eyes, anger yielding to ache. Why not tell me? We could have fought it together. Fear, he admitted, of dragging you down too. I climbed down, sitting on his bunk's edge, our knees touching. You already did, by shutting me out. The air thickened, charged with unspoken longing, but I pulled back, heart pounding. Sleep came easier that night, the divide narrowing to a whisper. Iowa's cornfields blurred by on day 4, endless green a metaphor for growth stunted. We fell into rhythm, morning coffees traded with stories, afternoons in the dome debating books. Walt Whitman versus James Baldwin, passions reigniting. But shadows lingered, a call from my mother, voicemail laced with concern masked as critique, unraveled me. Heard you're traveling alone. Be careful, son. The subtext, with who? Ethan overheard, offering no platitudes, just presence. Wanna talk? Hours spilled. My upbringing in a Boston suburb where dad's golf buddies joked about that gay agenda, mom's Bible study circles tiptoeing around my truth. Ethan's tales echoed, Catholic guilt from Philly, a brother who'd cut ties after his wedding toast gone south. Family's the first prejudice we fight, he said, and I nodded, the shared scar bonding us. A twist came at lunch, Jamie's text with a photo, me and Ethan at last pride. Caption still your favorite disaster duo? Panic surged. Had I mentioned him? No, but intuition's sharp. I showed Ethan, his laugh warm but edged. She always saw through us. Jealousy flickered, Jamie's unwavering support a mirror to his lapses, but it dissolved in honesty. I envied that, he admitted. Your circle. Mine's fractured. By dusk, crossing into Nebraska's plains, a storm hit. Thunder rattling windows, lightning fracturing skies. The train slowed, power flickering, plunging us into intimacy's dark. Candles from the club car cast golden glows, and in whispers, we confronted the unspoken, love's fragility amid societal storms. I thought running would end it, I said, but you're the horizon I can't outpace. His hand found mine, holding, not claiming. Then stop running. With me. Dawn over the Platte River brought clarity's light, but not resolution. We rose renewed, yet cautious, breakfast a minefield of glances. Conversation turned to futures, my LA aspirations, screenwriting in a city kinder to dreamers like us. His reluctance to leave the East, roots tangled in regret. What if we compromise, he ventured. Chicago first, test the waters. Hope bloomed, fragile as prairie flowers, but doubt nipped. Was this redemption or relapse? A high point came mid-morning. The observation car alive with an impromptu sing-along, queer voices harmonizing on show tunes. We joined, Ethan's baritone blending with my tenor, laughter bubbling free. For hours, prejudice faded, replaced by community's embrace, a microcosm of what we'd lost. But as miles mounted toward Colorado, a call from Ethan's ex-boss shattered the idyll. Need you back. Big project. Prove yourself. His face fell, the pull of obligation yanking at our thread. Back in the cabin, words tumbled. I can't just quit, Alex. Not after everything. Betrayal's echo resounded. His ambition once our shared foe. So I'm the disposable part again? Tears welled, hot and unbidden. He pulled me close, arms a fortress. No, you're the reason I fight. The embrace lingered, boundaries blurring, but I stepped back, needing air. The Rockies loomed ahead, jagged sentinels mirroring inner turmoil. Evening in the dining car was strained, silverware clinking like accusations. We dissected the call, his career a cage we'd both rattled. Remember our pact? I pressed. Love over fear. He nodded, eyes fierce. Then let's keep it. Sleep claimed us side by side on the lower bunk, the upper empty, trust's tentative bridge. Utah's deserts stretched barren on day 5, red rock canyons whispering of erosion's slow mercy. We woke entwined, morning light filtering through blinds, a tableau of possibility. Breakfast was playful, Ethan mimicking the conductor's drawl, me retaliating with tickles that dissolved into giggles. But levity cracked underweight. My journal entry read aloud, raw verses on loss, drawing his quiet awe. You're a poet, he murmured. And I'm just bricks and mortar. Stops brought distractions. Salt Lake Spire's ironic backdrop to our queer odyssey. Vendors' calls mingling with our banter. In the dome, we plotted, a joint life in Denver perhaps, architecture meeting stories. Excitement sparked, but realism tempered. Family ties, societal snags. A news snippet on a phone nearby. Another state banning queer books in schools. It's endless, Ethan sighed. But so are we. Afternoon brought conflict's shadow. A letter from his bag slipped out, creased, addressed to me, undelivered. I'm sorry. Come back. Dated pre-breakup. Why hide it? I demanded, hurt flaring. Pride, he confessed. Thought you'd burn it unread. Vulnerability peaked. Arguments yielding to understanding. Our flaws, mirrors of deeper fears. As sun dipped toward Nevada's sands, reconciliation whispered, hands clasped, promises murmured. Nightfall in the cabin was cathartic, stories swapped like secrets, laughter healing wounds. I love you, he said simply, and I echoed, the words a dam breaking. Sleep came deep, dreams of horizons shared. Nevada's lights twinkled like fallen stars by dawn, Vegas glow a siren call to reinvention. We rose invigorated, breakfast a vow-sealing rite, pancakes divvied, futures sketched on napkins. The day hummed with energy, dome car debates on identity, Ethan's sketches of dream homes, my plot twist for the novel inspired by our saga. A climax brewed at lunch. The slur-spewing passenger from days back cornered us in the corridor, drunk and belligerent. Railroad's no place for your kind. Fists clenched, but Ethan stepped forward, voice steel. It's America's rails. Ours too. The man swung, wild. I blocked, the scuffle drawing staff. Bruised but unbroken, we retreated, adrenaline forging steel in our bond. We faced it, I gasped. Together. As California neared, emotions crested. In the cabin, tears flowed, fears voiced, joys reclaimed. No more running, I pledged. He nodded, his forehead soft, chaste promise. The train's final whistle wailed, Sierra Nevada peaks framing our arrival. Disembarking in LA's bustle, hands linked defiantly, we stepped into sunlit chaos. Heartbreak's ashes scattered, love's embers reignited. Twists had bent us, but not broken. Prejudices challenged, not conquered. Yet our story, unfinished, pulsed with hope. In the city of angels, we'd build, brick by verse, heart by heart.